All right. Now, this is what a monthly budget looks like. Okay. Um, like I was saying, when you use debit card, credit card for everything, what you want to do is every month, every couple months, at least once a year, you want to go through those bank statements. You want to categorize your expenses. $2.32 for food, $5 for hair, $10 for gas, right? And you add all these numbers up, and that gives you whatever, your monthly budget, your quarterly budget, your annual budget. Until you see these numbers totaled, you really don't know how much you're spending and where you're spending. And it's so important to know where your money is going. Otherwise, you can't make any decisions. You can't make any valid financial decisions if you don't know where your money is coming or going. So, again, this is just a very simple monthly budget that was done for a client. And as you can see here, the larger portions of this budget is rent, we have hair, and we have weed, right? And so what we want to do is we want to take out the largest expenses and we want to put those in a separate account. Okay, so for instance, we know rent is the larger expense, right? So what other expenses go with rent? Well, we have internet, right? We have house, and that's it. So what we want to do is we want to have one bank account that's set up for just rent, internet, and household supplies. Okay? And so that way we can better manage how much we're spending on rent, internet, and household supplies. All right. Now, the rent and the internet, that's going to be the same amount every month. No worries. The household supplies, that's what we want to manage. This is what we want to put a budget on. Okay. So you're going to make a decision right now how much you want to spend on household supplies. And guess what? When you get to that point, okay, you can't spend any more. Period. You just have to wait for the next month. You have to have the discipline in order to do that. So again, that's why it's important to go back and look at a year, 2 years, 3 years to find out really how much you've been spending on household supplies, right? Because maybe we find out that on average your household supplies are only about $100 a month. So then we set a budget for $100 a month, okay? And you proceed with life that way. So let's look at some of the other expenses. We have nails, okay? Looks like it's 3% of the total expenses, okay? And what else goes with nails? Shoes, which is only 1%. So, and hair, which is 22% of the monthly budget. Now, of course, this is not an expense that's going to happen every month. That's just this one particular month, which again is why it's so important for you to do this over a number of months to get a better idea of how much you're really spending per month. Let's just say that maybe this is what you spent for the entire year. In 1 month, you spent what you spend for the entire year. Well, you still divide this number out by 12, and that's the actual hair budget every month, right? So, you want to have the nails, the hair, the shoes, separate account. And you want to put a budget on it. You want to say, okay, I know I'm going to get my nails done, twice a month. I know I'm going to spend X amount of money on hair. I know I'm going to spend X amount of money on shoes. And you set a budget for yourself. And you say, okay, that's it, right? Some of this other stuff, entertainment, car expense, car insurance, food, gas, all those things, again, can be placed into a separate account. And understand, too, when I talk about these separate bank accounts, what's important to understand is there are certain bank accounts that you can set up that will actually give you discounts and cash back and other benefits just for purchasing these items. So we're talking about gas, right? You can get a gas card, especially if you're someone that's wanting to build credit, right? You can get a gas credit card that gives you great cashback benefits, and use that card to buy your gas. And again, you place a budget on that card, and you don't go past that budget. If you don't have money on the card to buy gas, guess what? You just can't afford gas. That's the way it works. You know, you have to have the discipline to stick to that. And again, you can only do that once you know exactly how much gas you're going to spend. And how can you predict that? You simply look at what you've done in the past, right? Because even though no one can predict the future 100%, you can be pretty sure that what you've been doing over the past couple years, you're going to continue doing, right? And of course, every budget has a little bit of wiggle room, but you don't want to go over budget, right? So if your budget for gas is, let's say, $50 a month, you can be okay with going over, $11. It's completely up to you. You have to determine that. It all depends on your budget and what your goals are and what you want to accomplish. And when I sit down with the client, that's the kind of things that we go through, and we construct that to make sure that they're successful in whatever goal it is that they want to reach.